Hello everyone. We are Group 5 presenting the Capstone project of Cloud Computing program at Humber College. In this project, we have provided solution for the non-profit organization called Cipart Gallery to automate their social media data collection via Python scripts and to load those data into Azure SQL database through the development of an ETL pipeline in Azure Data Factory. Also, the steps to be followed in order to visualize the loaded data from Microsoft Power BI. So let's move on to the technical overview diagram of the project. So this is the technical overview diagram of the project where we will be automating the Python scripts in order to store data in Azure Blob Storage, and the CSV files will be stored in Blob Storage. So those CSV files that are loaded in the Blob Storage will be consumed by the ETL pipeline that will be implemented in the Azure Data Factory, and those data will be loaded into Azure SQL database where this data can be visualized using Microsoft Power BI. So let's move on to a quick demo on building of the copy data pipeline in Azure Data Factory. Let's go through the Azure services, Azure resources that we have created in Microsoft Azure for this project. So this is the blob storage that we have created to store CSV files. If you go to the blob storage containers and then the blob storage container, so this is the zip Instagram folder that carries zip Instagram post CSV. So this is the CSV that we will be copying into SQL database in this demo. And if you go into the SQL database and query editor, in tables you can see the table that we have created for Instagram posts. So this table contains all the columns which we have mapped to the columns of the CSV. So all the column types are text, and let's move on to the next resource. So that is the data factory, and data factory holds the pipeline that will copy the data from the CSV into the SQL database. So let's move on to the data factory. So in the pipelines, we have created copy to SQL database. So this pipeline will copy the data from the CSV that is there in the blob storage into the SQL database that we have created and into the table that we have created in the SQL database, which is Instagram posts. So if you go to the copy data functionality of the pipeline, we have given the source as the zip Instagram folder that we have created in the blob storage, and it will take all the files that is there in the zip Instagram folder, and in sync we have given as the sync data set the SQL database that we have created, and it will insert all the data from the source to the sync. And here you can see the mapping of the data from the source to the destination, and this will show all the columns that is there in the CSV, and this will show all the columns that is there in the database. So if you want to modify any column or if you want to change the mapping, you can do so from deleting. If you want to delete, you can delete, and if you want to modify, you can modify the mapping from here, what needs to be mapped into the database column. So let's do a quick trigger now. So you can schedule the trigger, defining the timeline, and now we will be doing a manual trigger. In this monitor, we can see the manual trigger status. It is succeeded, and let's move on to the database and let's see whether the data has been migrated. So you can see all the data in the CSV has been copied into the database table Instagram process.
Okay, hi guys. This is my first time of using this app, so I hope it serves the purpose. So we are at the point where we are trying to um, do some visualizations from the data that's been collected from the automated pipeline from SIP Art Gallery. So this basically is the landing page of the Power BI. But before we get ahead, um, I want to just highlight that due to the challenges of subscription with Azure, we had to make use of a third-party tool. This one here, this SQL, this one right here. We had to make use of this to help us extract data from the SQL server in the Azure database that we use for this visualization. So having said that, this is what it usually would look like when we wanted to log on into the Azure database to take data for visualization from what the automated pipeline has dumped into the data lake. So usually before now, this basically is the credential of the server bucket in that Azure platform that we use for this project. This is the login, zip admin, the password, the server name that we created in the platform, and just basically the authentication that helps us extract data, onto um, onto the visualization platform. But this is one way, though the other part would be the one that you make a direct connection to the database using this app. Okay, so the steps are straightforward. You get this, uh, get to hang on a bit because it takes a few seconds for it to come up. This is still on the Power BI landing page. That's just so basically, um, the advantage of using this is that Azure has direct connection with the Microsoft Power BI. So when you get here and you want to make some connections, you click on Azure, and then depending on where your data is residing on, you now choose where to go. We had some data in the Azure SQL database that we lost the subscription. So basically, if it were on, you just do this and that. So when you attempt to make the connection, it throws this up. It throws this up, and then you remember the server name I shared here. We can, oh, it's gone. The server name here can be used to log on to the database directly in Azure, and then you import whatever you have. Or we can make use of the advanced options to see the better way. But usually, this was what we used, and it's worked for us. I mean, we try to keep it as simple as possible. Um, Having said that, I will just go ahead and do some um, what it would have been like if we assume that we took some data off. Uh, so assuming this was the data we collected from the um, Azure data lake, that's just the importation type. The other steps are basically straightforward. Um, the data from the Azure data lake would have appeared here, and all we would have had to do was to load or transform further before we load or transform it some more before we make use of the visualization stuff. Um, this is a bit slow today. Um, so you can do some further transformation of whichever data we have collected from the from what the pipeline transmitted into the SQL server database. So we just assume that this is it, and then you close and apply whatever change you have done. If you had the need to just rearrange this, and then once that is done, the table appears right here. The table appears right here. It seems I have okay. I think I tried to update this before and it wasn't working, but right now it looks like let's see what we have. Uh, let's see what we have, because around there it's about visualization. This is I think this was the zip document that had gender and age. Okay, so females between 13 and 17, females between 18 to 24, males between 13 and 17 and stuff. So basically, this is just uh, um, a depiction of whatever it is. This is in 2019, the first quarter. This is the month. Okay, this is just okay. Let's see if we mix data up and see how the thing turns out. So these are visualization patterns. So on this day in August, the hits that this Facebook page of Zip got, they got two hits on the 21st day of August in the third quarter of 2019, and then hits from two people who were just 18, between 18 and 24, and they were females. So um, visualization like that can just keep being created with what we have. We can put it in a different format. It can come in various formats. Okay, and we can make them more beautiful. But for now, it's just that we are testing functionalities um, for us to be able to get what we want from where we want it. Just testing different. This is another one. Oh, the same. Okay. We change this. Change this to something like this. Um, so this actually is telling us the number of so well we have no mandate to, um, summarize any, to make any absolute statement with the data. We are just still testing functionality. So this is like saying in 2019, this is the number of people that you know um, went through this website. You can still change patterns. This is a pie chart that has all dots. You can use real life maps. You know. So basically, let's see. So this is about age, not location. So the map feature will not work, but we just wanted to test functionality. These are dots. These are using dots to represent, to tell stories. So I think uh, this is just about it. Testing functionalities and confirming that um, data from the ETL pipeline can go all the way to this part, and then there is there's an organic display of how zip gallery is doing, in the social media world or in the new media world. But I think for me, the most attractive part of this project is knowing that at any time there is new data, that at any time that you have new data, you can just append what you have to this. Once you append what you have to this, okay, once you append what you have to this, to the existing document, and visualize it, and just save it, all you have here gets updated. So it's for you to set what you really want to visualize, and then the results are there. So, well, I think we took so much time talking about this, but what we wanted to really show was the functionality of was the process of taking data from the social media handles of Zip, passing them through Azure by an automated pipeline, extracting, transforming, and loading them, and then getting to this stage. So I hope this list tries to address the problem. Thank you.